In the cutthroat world of fashion, it takes a lot to stand out from the crowd and make your mark. But what if the very thing that makes you unique almost got you laughed out of existence? That's exactly what happened to the iconic Lacoste Crocodile, a brand that now generates billions of dollars in revenue each year. Join us as we explore the incredible story of the billion-dollar Lacoste Crocodile that almost got laughed out of existence. In the early days of the Lacoste brand, the idea of wearing a short-sleeved, breathable shirt on the tennis court was met with ridicule and disbelief. But one man, French tennis player René Lacoste, refused to give up on his vision. A comfortable and functional shirt that would allow him to move freely on the court. And with his crocodile logo proudly emblazoned on the chest, he set out to change the game of tennis and the world of fashion forever. But his journey was far from easy. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the inspiring story of the billion-dollar Lacoste, a story of resilience, innovation, and unwavering style. Get ready for an intense and captivating journey through the history of one of the most iconic brands in the world. René Lacoste was a French tennis player who made a name for himself in the 1920s and 1930s. He was born on July 2, 1904 in Paris, France, to Jean-Jules Lacoste and Jean-Marie Magdeleine Lahoulette. He grew up in a wealthy family in the suburb of Saint-Jean-de-Luz in southwestern France. His parents were supportive of his athletic pursuits and encouraged him to play tennis. Jean-René Lacoste discovered his passion for tennis at the age of 15. Despite his relatively late start, he quickly showed promise on the court. In fact, the Tennis Hall of Fame acknowledges that it was these qualities that set him apart from his peers. However, what few people may not know is that it was a challenge from his father that really lit a fire under Lacoste. Jean-Jules Lacoste promised to support his son's career if he could become a world champion within 5 years. This was an enormous challenge, but René wanted to prove himself to his father. So he began intense training for 3 years in 1922. René entered his first tennis competition, which was the Wimbledon Championship Grand Slam tournament, but unfortunately he lost in the first round. He was disturbed about these results because of the pressure from his father to succeed. The next year he entered his first competition in the United States. Things were a little better this time as he made it to the 4th round, but was narrowly defeated by Cecil Campbell. Despite setbacks, René Lacoste remained committed to his training, constantly pushing his natural abilities to the limit. In 1923, he was chosen to play for the French Davis Cup team, where he teamed up with Jean Barotre, Jacques Brugnon, and Henri Cochet. Together, they proved to be a dominant force on the court, earning the nickname the Four Musketeers among tennis fans. After years of hard work, René finally reached his first major final in 1925 at Wimbledon. Unfortunately, he was defeated by fellow musketeer Jacques Brugnon in a hard-fought match. Despite the loss, René's performance helped solidify his reputation as one of the top tennis players in the world. After his defeat at Wimbledon, René did not give up. Instead, he trained even harder, determined to fulfill his promise to his father. His efforts paid off when he won the French championship title later that year. In the following year's Wimbledon tournament, René faced Jacques Brugnon again in the finals, and this time he emerged victorious, finally earning his place as a champion in the eyes of his father. However, his reign as French champion was short-lived, as he lost the title the following year to Henri Cochet. Following his defeat, René chose not to compete at Wimbledon that year, and instead focused on training to improve his game. In September 1926, he participated in the US National Championship, where he once again faced off against Jacques Brugnon in the final match. This time, René emerged victorious, winning the championship and earning the title of #1 tennis player for 1926 by The Daily Telegraph. From that moment on, Lacoste dedicated himself not only to honing his skills on the court, but also to studying his opponent's strengths and weaknesses. And he ultimately achieved his goal, becoming the world's top-ranked player. Lacoste's hard work paid off, and he soon became recognized as one of the world's top tennis players. His strategies, tenacious playing style, and fierce determination made him a force to be reckoned with on the court. In 1929, René Lacoste played in only one major championship, the French Open. where he won his 7th and final Grand Slam singles title in a grueling 5-set final against Barotra. Off the court, Lacoste was a family man. He married his wife, Simone Thion de la Chaume, in 1930, and they had 3 children together, Catherine, Bernard, and Michel. Simone Thion de la Chaume achieved the distinction of becoming the first non-British player to win the Girls' Amateur Championship. Furthermore, in 1927, she also became the first non-British player to win the British Ladies Amateur, which was considered the most esteemed tournament in European and British ladies golf at the time. Remarkably, her daughter, Catherine Lacoste, would go on to win the same event 42 years later. His daughter, Catherine Lacoste, also became a successful golfer and won the US Women's Open in 1967. So how did René Lacoste's tennis career lead to the creation of the Lacoste brand? René's distinctive style of play caught the attention of many, as he frequently slithered around the back of the court while playing. But it was during the 1926 Davis Cup final that American journalists became particularly intrigued. Despite France's loss to the US team, something remarkable occurred that would eventually give birth to the iconic Lacoste crocodile emblem. During the 1926 World Cup final, the French team faced off against the American team, led by the undefeated Bill Tilden, Big Bull. René was chosen to play against Tilden, and the tennis world eagerly watched the match. In a stunning upset, René managed to defeat Tilden in a 4-set game. American journalists at the event were captivated by René's unique style of play, which involved slithering around the court, and dubbed it the Crocodile. Although the team lost the finals, René's win boosted their chances of winning the cup the following year. René then defeated Bill again in the next World Group final, one of his 3 matches against him. The Crocodile nickname made its way to France, and René loved it, admitting that the name highlighted his tenacity on the tennis courts and his dedication to never giving up on his prey. Later that same year, during a crucial match, René's Davis Cup team captain promised him a crocodile skin suitcase if they won. René took him up on the promise and helped lead the team to victory. Following their win, Robert George designed a signature crocodile logo and embroidered it on René's blazer. He proudly wore the blazer to the court during his next game, and his confidence and unique style drew the attention of tennis fans. In the subsequent year, he was defeated by Tilden in the Davis Cup opener, which marked his final international match. Due to respiratory illness, his health deteriorated, eventually leading to his retirement at the young age of 25. He retired after winning the French Open in 1929. René had been wearing the Crocodile-branded blazer to every match, but it wasn't until 5 years later that the Lacoste brand finally launched. As someone who had been training from a very young age, René had a lot of personal experience with tennis and noticed that a long-sleeved button-up shirt was very uncomfortable to play in and did not enhance the player's flexibility. Based on this observation, he designed the first version of what would become the official tennis uniform today, but at the time it was still in the production stage and had not yet launched. In 1933, René approached André Gillier, a prominent French textile magnate and the owner of the country's largest knitwear manufacturing firm, and asked him to embroider the crocodile logo on the front of his tennis shirt, which he wore to his next match. The shirt garnered attention, and the duo started producing more of them, which eventually led to the birth of a business. The company was officially registered as La Société Chemise Lacoste, and René became its brand ambassador. René's sportswear became very popular at the time, as it featured a short-sleeved jersey-knit polo shirt instead of the traditional button-up shirt. The popularity of René's sportswear continued to grow, but they faced a challenge in obtaining a license to sell their products under the Lacoste brand name in the United States. In 1950, Lacoste formed a partnership with a US corporation called Izod, creating a sub-brand named Izod Lacoste, which produced affordable branded clothing. At first, Lacoste only produced white-collared sportswear, but after partnering with Izod, they expanded their product line to include shirts in other colors. By 1970, Lacoste sportswear had become highly popular in the United States. Le Tigre clothing, a sportswear brand, was established in the US 7 years later to compete with Izod Lacoste. They also produced comfortable sportswear and used a different animal instead of the crocodile as their logo. However, it was difficult to surpass the popularity of Lacoste, and other sportswear companies in the US started making similar shirts and logos for their brand. As a result, the worth of the Lacoste brand continued to grow. René, the first brand ambassador of Lacoste, credited the success of the brand to his decision of not choosing a friendly animal as the logo. Even after retiring from tennis in 1932, he kept designing innovative sports goods. In the 1960s, he designed the world's first steel tennis racket, which became popular among tennis stars like Jimmy Connors, thus expanding Lacoste's territory from sportswear to sport goods. In 1964, Bernard Lacoste, René's son, assumed control of the company, having previously overseen the partnership between Lacoste and Izod. During the 1970s and 1980s, teenagers began referring to the shirt as simply Izod instead of Izod Lacoste. But despite this, the collaboration between the two brands remained financially successful. Crystal Brands, the parent company of Izod, faced financial difficulties due to debts from other business ventures, leading to efforts to separate Izod and Lacoste to repay the debts. Eventually, Crystal Brands had to sell their half of Lacoste back to the original French company, while Izod was sold to another company. Lacoste ended their partnership with Izod in 1993, after regaining exclusive US distribution rights for their own brand of shirts. In 1990, Lacoste put an end to their long-standing brand identity dispute with a Chinese company called Crocodile. With this issue resolved, Bernard Lacoste realized that the company needed new management to take it forward. In 2000, the decision was made to appoint Christophe Lemaire as the new creative director of Lacoste. This move helped to re-establish Lacoste as not just a sportswear company, but also a luxury fashion brand. Under the new leadership, Lacoste expanded their product line beyond clothing and began producing footwear, eyewear, leather goods, lingerie, perfume, towels, and watches. In 2005, Bernard Lacoste fell ill and passed on the company to his younger brother, Michel Lacoste, who had worked with him for years and was capable of continuing the family legacy. When Bernard died on March 21, 2006, the company mourned the loss of another president. Under Michael's administration, Lacoste began licensing its trademark to other companies. The brand also launched its e-commerce site for the US market in June 2007 and introduced Hayden Christensen as the face of their Challenge fragrance for men in 2009. In September 2010, Felipe Oliveira Baptista succeeded Christophe Lemaire as the creative manager of Lacoste. Lacoste established the René Lacoste Foundation as a community program to assist children in playing sports at school. In March 2016, the brand opened a new flagship store on Fashion Street in Budapest. In 2017, Novak Djokovic became Lacoste's brand ambassador and the new Crocodile, next to René Lacoste, with a 5-year contract and numerous appearances in advertising campaigns. In September 2019, Lacoste appointed Chinese singer-actor Zi Tao as their brand spokesperson for the Asia-Pacific region, marking the company's first appointment in the area. Lacoste collaborated with Supreme on a collection of co-branded clothing in 2017, 2018, and 2019. In 2018, Louise Trotter was appointed as the creative director of Lacoste, and she left the position after a 4-year tenure in January 2023. In late 2022, Lacoste signed a 15-year worldwide licensing agreement with Interparfums to launch a new perfume line in 2024. After wrapping up its previous relationship with Coty Inc., Divanlay now exclusively owns the license to Lacoste clothing worldwide, even though Lacoste polo shirts are manufactured under license in Thailand and China. Despite this, the company continues to grow and expand its product range. Thank you for watching to learn about the history of Lacoste. From its humble beginnings as a tennis shirt to a global fashion brand, Lacoste has come a long way over the years. If you want to see more interesting and informative videos like this, be sure to check out the rest of our channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts. And most importantly, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video from us. Thanks again for watching.